What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Playbook Sports Podcast. This is Nate coming at you guys after a nice little week off. Took some time, recharged the old batteries. Not a whole lot going on in the football world, honestly, so it was kind of a good time for me just to sort of settle in and get ready for the free agent and draft run that we have coming. But today, we have decided as a group, collectively, we are going to be trying to fix a few teams in the NFL for this upcoming offseason and moves we think that they should make. Last year we did this with every single division. Felt like with all of the divisions, it was less time we could spend on each team and give us less time. You know, we all have jobs, right? This obviously isn't our main source of income considering it gives us $0. So we all have lives. We all have things to do. So this year we're going to be able to spend a little more time on each of these teams individually and tell you guys how we're going to try and fix them up at least this offseason. And I'm going to start us off today, and I'm going to talk about the Green Bay Packers. Before we get into today's video, guys, I just want to give a special shout out to today's sponsors, starting with Gold Fine & Bowles, Lawyers for the Injured. Personal injury, workers' compensation, those are their two things, but any sort of legal advice, they're the people to call. Give them a phone call, 309-673-5144. Tell them we sent you, okay? And I'd also like to shout out SeatGeek for sponsoring today's video as well. Use promo code PlaybookSports on their website to get $20 off your first purchase of $30 or more. Let's get back to the video. So, current cap, and now also, I wrote all this out a little while ago. Some moves that may be redundant, some things they may already be doing, and some things have shifted. So these are just my thoughts, and if it's already happened, sorry. So, first, Packers, not a ton of cap space, about middle of the road in cap space. According to Spot Track, their current cap space situation, here we go. Current cap space is $6 million because of the cap adjustment that we had. So $6 million in cap space. First move I'm making, and there's already been some smoke about this if it hasn't already been done. I've got to release David Bakhtiari. Bakhtiari's got to go. He's got nearly a $40 million cap hit going into next season, has hardly played in the last 2 years, and the Packers' offensive line has still been fantastic. Even with him not playing, your $40 million left tackle not playing, your offensive line is still top 7, top 8 in the NFL. You release him and you save $21 million against the cap this year. That takes you from $6 million in cap space to $27, and the ability to sign a number of free agents with that money alone. I think he has to go. Older, big injury history. It sucks to watch him go, and you know, as a Packers fan, right, you have the years of Aaron Rodgers and David Bakhtiari and Devontae Adams, and they're obviously done. They didn't win you anything. It's time to move forward, and Bakhtiari is the last kind of piece to go, I think. And so is this guy. Next up, I think the Packers need to, unfortunately, release Aaron Jones. Hurt a lot of last year. Low production for most of the season. 30-year-old running back. He's set to make $17 million against the cap this year. Absolutely not. No way. You cannot pay a running back $17 million and field a competitive team that you think has a chance to win it all. Can't do it. Can't be done. So I'm releasing him. It does only save $5.2 million against the cap this year, but going forward, that frees that money up, and you can use that on somebody else who isn't 30 years old and doesn't have the injury history of Aaron Jones, who I personally love, by the way. Then the next one up. This one might be a little bit more controversial, but I'm releasing Devondre Campbell. 31-year-old middle linebacker. You drafted Quay Walker just a year or two ago to replace him, and you can easily get an interior linebacker in the second or third round of this year's draft. And there you go. You got your linebackers to go forward. But something else to consider is new defensive coordinator Jeff Hafley. He likes to run 4-3s. Packers are built to run a 3-4. Their outside linebackers that they have listed as outside linebackers are guys like Preston Smith and Rashawn Gary. Those are not outside linebackers in a 4-3. Those guys need to be defensive ends. Are they big enough for that? I think Rashawn Gary is for sure. Preston Smith may be another cap casualty that I didn't put here. But in a 4-3, you only have one middle linebacker and a couple outside linebackers that are more coverage guys. I think that you go with Quay Walker and see what he's got, and then you draft a guy to play that outside kind of linebacker role, someone who's fast. The linebacker out of Arkansas, whose name escapes me, would be a good one. Edgerrin Cooper would be a good second-round pick. So there's guys in this draft that can replace Devondre Campbell for a fraction of the cost and significantly younger that you can build with. So I release him. It does only save $2.6 million against the cap. It's not a huge cap-saving move, but I think it's a necessary one. Next thing I'm doing is I'm going to try to extend Jordan Love. The Packers have already it's been mentioned, Packers are going to look to make him one of the highest paid QBs in the league. He was very, very good for them last year. I think they have their guy going forward. And by extending him, you make this year's cap hit smaller. And that is never a bad thing. I'm not going to include it in the numbers, like when I break down how much cap space they have after these moves, but I do think that doing that's a good idea. Push some of that money towards the back end of his contract and free up some more going into this upcoming season. And then I'm going to re-sign Darnell Savage. Both of the starting safeties for the Packers are free agents. Darnell Savage is young, very good, not projected to make a ton according to SpotTrack.com. Projected to be about 2 years, $9 million, $4.5 million a year for your starting safety. Thank you very much, especially when you're probably going to look to address that position in the draft. So after those moves and just some adjustments, they're sitting about, with the extra $6 million now to account for, about $31 million in cap space going into the offseason. That's plenty of money to make some moves, man. Plenty of money. So needs. They're going to need a tackle. They're going to need a running back, probably a linebacker or two, and another corner to put opposite of Jair Alexander. So free agent fits at tackle. If they're looking to go splashy, Jonah Williams comes to mind. You can start him at either side. You can start him at left. You can start him at right and move your right tackle over. You got Elton Jenkins. You've got a bunch of guys who are kind of, I'm trying to think of the word. They're able to do a lot of different things. You've got guys that are movable. They are able to adapt and play different positions. Versatile, thank you. There it is. You've got a bunch of versatile offensive linemen that can play any of the 5 spots. Move them around however you need to. But Jonah Williams probably about $10 million a year, so he'd really eat into that cap space, but he would be a very solid tackle for them. Someone else I have written here as a cheaper option would be Kendall Lam. Played for Miami last year, so I got a good look at him. Very, very good as a swing tackle, a vet presence. He's going to be cheap. No more than a couple $1 million a year for a 2 or 3 year deal. I think he'd be a great pickup for them. Not even necessarily to be a starter, but just to be a swing tackle and to play any of the positions needed. He was very good for Miami. I was very happy to have him around. Running back position here. Probably looking to bring back someone like A.J. Dillon. He's going to come back for cheap, about $3 million a year. It's a lot better than the $17 Aaron Jones is on. But someone else that I thought I would mention here would be someone like Antonio Gibson. Young, cheap, good change of pace back with A.J. Dillon. You want somebody with speed because old Quadzilla back there is more of a power back. And Antonio Gibson was kind of pushed out of Washington. He'll be a free agent this year. Shouldn't be too expensive. I like his fit in the Green Bay offense just to kind of be a 1-2 punch. A little bit of lightning to the thunder of A.J. Dillon. And then cornerbacks, not a great free agent class if you're not looking to spend big dollars. Obviously, you're going to have guys like L'Jarius Sneed who are priced out of their range. Jalen Johnson, who there's just no way he's going to the Packers. I mean, he might, but I do not see that happening. I wrote down here Sean Murphy-Bunting. I thought would be a good corner to put him next up to play alongside Jair Alexander. It'd be a pretty good 1-2 punch. But you're probably looking to draft a guy here as well. Which then takes me into draft fits that I like for them. And it's kind of tricky considering you don't know exactly what you got going at left tackle. We'll have a lot of clarity on the Packers' first-round pick after we see what happens in free agency. But round 1, a couple of fits I've got for them where they pick, which is about, 25th I think is their pick? 25. So round 1, if you're looking for a tackle, guys like Tyler Guyton or Jordan Morgan out of Arizona, those are both good fits. I think Tyler Guyton fits them a little bit more with his athletic profile. But Jordan Morgan is probably an early second-round pick. Tyler Guyton's definitely more of the first-round guy here. Could see Green Bay maybe trade back and pick up some more assets. But I like either of them there. They'll need an edge rusher to go alongside of Lucas Van Ness, their first-round pick from last year. But you'll probably just transition Rashawn Gary out of the outside linebacker role and more of a hand-in-the-dirt defensive end. But if you decide to go edge and someone like Latu somehow falls down the board to 25, or more likely Chop Robinson, I don't hate either of them. Again, Latu, someone you take at 25. Chop Robinson's probably someone you are happy to trade down to the low 20, like the 29 to 32 range, and take Chop Robinson there. Very, very athletic edge. He's going to maybe be hard to get after he tested the combine because he's going to test off the charts. And then DB, this is some of the This is a highly mocked pick to Green Bay, and that's Cooper DeJean, because you need a corner. He can play there. You need a safety. He can play there too. You just play him wherever the heck you need him. You get a good safety in free agency. Okay, we'll take this kid to be a stud corner. You get a good corner in free agency. Okay, this guy's football IQ is off the charts. Cliche. But Cooper DeJean's going to be awesome at the next level, and then you just go back-to-back years where you take an Iowa defensive player, and that's never a bad idea because their defense is always, always good. So those are the round 1 picks I like. A couple of round 2 picks I like for them as well would be someone like Zach Frazier. Can play guard, can play center, can play any of the interior 3 offensive line positions out of West Virginia. Probably the best, second or third best interior offensive lineman, depending on where you put someone like Graham Barton. Wide receiver, I know they don't take him in the first, but they sure love to take him in the second. I really like the idea of Devontae Walker here. Put him on the outside, have him working with Christian Watson, Romeo Doubs, and Jaden Reed. That's an awesome 4 wide receivers right there to go along with their 2 tight ends that they drafted last year in Musgrave and Tucker Kraft. We'll just give them more weapons. Nothing wrong with that. DBs, I like Kamari Lassiter out of Georgia, and I like Cam Kinchens out of Miami a lot, especially if you need a safety. Kitchens is probably, I think he's my safety one. A lot of people like Tyler Nubin. Just not as big on Tyler. I like Cam Kitchen's size. I like his athleticism. I saw some crazy plays out of him at Miami. Very, very good. Not that I don't like Tyler Nubin. I just don't think you'll get him with your second-round pick. He's probably a late first-round, early second-round guy. I like Cam Kinchens just a little bit more anyways as a prospect. And then linebacker, if someone like Edgerrin Cooper were to fall out of the first round, maybe move up and get someone like him. Have him and Quay Walker just together the next several years as the kind of leaders of your defensive side of the football. I don't hate that. So that would, I think, put the Packers in a pretty good spot going forward. You extend your quarterback, you get out of some heavy contracts, and there's going to be more. Like I said, Preston Smith might be on the chopping block because they're not going to run the style of defense that he thrives in. There's going to be a lot of moves on the defensive side of the ball for Green Bay, but I think they can feel pretty comfortable knowing the offensive side of the ball is looking damn good. So let me know what you guys think about what I did with Green Bay. Let me know some moves you'd like me to make, or would like them to make, I should say. And what you think about the draft prospects. I listed for them at pick 25, and then their second pick in their first second-round pick, whenever that is, in the 50s, I believe. So that's what I got for you guys today. Let me know if you want me to do any other teams. I am set up to do the Giants next, so the Giants video will come out shortly, and then the other teams will be coming out as the guys send me their breakdowns. But if there's another team you want us to do, let us know in the comments down below. If you're not already subscribed, hit that subscribe button. Follow along. Draft is coming. Don't forget about the Draft Spectacular. We will be live during the entire NFL Draft, the full first round of the NFL Draft, breaking down every single pick, predicting the next pick, and just going with it. Just rolling with the flow of the night. It's going to be a ton of fun. Can't wait to do that. We will be live right here on YouTube. Probably going to be live on Twitch. Probably going to be live on TikTok. Going to be everywhere. You're going to see us all over the place. So stay tuned for all that, and we'll catch you guys in the next one.